Hey everyone, Alex Davis talking about the 7.3 medium heavy plus glass Curado rod. This rod was designed specifically just for throwing a chatterbait, a vibrating jig. Vibrating jigs caught probably more fish in the last 10 years than any other bait that I personally caught. I love to throw the thing, but I didn't feel like I had the right rod. You need a rod, for one, is glass in my opinion. I feel like if you have a graphite rod, you jerk it away from too many fish. I think you almost feel the fish get the bait too quick. You don't have that delayed reaction, and it gets to where they'll also jump off real bad with it. So the engineers worked at Shimano, they came out with the perfect rod, and when you combine glass and high power X, they can make the exact action you need to be able to catch more fish, land more fish. It also helps work the bait. A lot of times you're fishing around vegetation, submergent vegetation, and you need to be able to rip that bait loose. That's what triggers a lot of the strikes. When that chatterbait hits a piece of grass and you rip it free and it pops free, that's when the fish is gonna get it. There's usually slack in the line when that happens, a little bit of slack. That's where that stiff, moderate action is gonna be able to hook him real good, but you're also gonna be able to work your bait, free the bait 100% of the time with just a small jerk. You'll be able to come back clear, but you'll also be able to hook every fish. This rod has CI4 plus reel seat, very, very sensitive. When I'm holding it all day long, I can feel exactly what that bait is doing. I can feel the vibration in the handle, and that's really, really important. It comes with a little bit longer of a handle. It's about 1 inch longer than I think the regular medium heavy. And what that helps me do is when I throw the chatterbait out, I let it sink, and I'm actually gonna put that butt underneath my elbow, put it up against my body. I'm just gonna steady retrieve. When it hits a piece of grass, all I have to do is just kind of pop it. I don't want to put my rod tip up in the air. That's the #1 mistake, is when you put your rod tip up and you go to free it. When one gets it and the rod tip's up, you can't move the rod anymore. You pretty much lost all your power, lost the backbone of the rod. So I keep the rod tip down, steady wind. When I hit grass, I just pop it free. And when one loads up on it, you don't have to jerk. That's one thing that's nice about this rod. It was designed for that. You don't set the hook. When one gets it, all you do is keep cranking and lean into them. The rod does the job for you. It hooks the fish for you, and just keep winching them in. You don't want to do anything real drastic with them. You want to let that fish get the bait all the way in his mouth. If you try to set the hook, what it'll actually do is that blade will pop the fish's mouth open and you won't hook him. So when he tries to open his mouth, that hook's gonna get him right dead in the top of the mouth, and let the rod do the work for you. Chatterbait, to me, it's a 12-month out of year bait. I really like it that pre-spawn. When them fish first move up, they're really feeding on big shad, big brim. A lot of times though, that's the time of the year that you get the most amount of rain. I really like that EVA foam. I'm not gonna lose feel on it. It's not gonna get slippery, so I can really have a good grip, and that just helps me catch more fish and have a more pleasurable experience while I'm fishing. The first time you see this rod, it's really big, and that's because of glass. You think it's probably gonna be heavy. When you put it in your hand, it's extremely lightweight, and that's where that system comes in, putting that Curado 150. That reel is extremely lightweight. You put it on this rod, you don't even really know you have it. It's very well balanced. You want the rod and reel extremely balanced in your hand. You just don't even know it's there. It's something you can do all day long with this system. It has the MGL3 spool that helps me make super long casts, has micro module gearing, so it's really smooth on the retrieve. One thing I really like on this Curado 150 has an oversized handle and a power grip on it. You know, sometimes you get those wet conditions, misty or even raining. The worst thing you can have is when one gets it, you go to set the hook, your hands slip off. With the power grip, your hand's not gonna slip off. You're gonna be able to always pretty much put the power to the fish, get them in the boat. One thing on line choice, I like the Shimano Mastiff 20 pounds. It's a really limp line, has nano armor on it, so it has superior knot strength, great durability, especially in the grass, you know, abrasion resistance. But one thing you can do is if you want that bait to ride a little bit deeper, let's say you're gonna get out in that 6 to 8 foot range, you can actually go down to 16-pound Mastiff, and that's gonna help you get your bait about a foot, foot and a half deeper just on your line size. I prefer bigger line, but one thing I do want, if I want to try to, you know, target those deeper grass lines, I will go to 16-pound Mastiff. One question is size on the vibrating jig. I only throw 2 sizes, 3/8, ½ ounce, and I pretty much do that just based on depth. If I'm gonna fish 4 foot or shallower all day long, I'm gonna go with the 3/8. If I'm gonna fish anywhere between that 3 to 7 foot all day long, I go ½ ounce. Colors, I think the simpler you keep your whole system all the time, the more fish you're gonna catch. I really like shad colors when they're feeding on shad, brim when the brim come up and they start kind of spawning, getting around where bass are trying to spawn when they really feed on brim. I like that green pumpkin, your bluegill colors. Anytime the water's got a real stain to it, real dirty, I really like black and blue. And I feel like the simpler you keep your whole system, the better off you're gonna be, and that's why I think this system is the most ideal setup that I've ever used. At 7.3 medium heavy plus glass is the best vibrating jig rod I've ever used. I catch more fish, I land more fish, put a Curado 150 on there, 20-pound Mastiff, you can't go wrong, you're gonna have a lot of fun.